everyone. Today we are back with a gold mine of information, and just a reminder that this is the first Monday of every month, and it is at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. So if you've never joined us, welcome. If you have, again, we're here almost every single month. And how this works is you will have all of the resources will be collected on a Wakelet. And after the session, I will share out the resources. It will take me about 15 minutes after the session to add them to this Wakelet. But then all of your resources and all the past sessions are able to be viewed. So feel free to use those resources, make a copy, customize them for your classroom. If you make them better, share them back on Twitter. And I would love to see those new creations. So just a reminder, every single resource is on a Wakelet at the end of the session. Right here is our choice board, and what you're going to do is you're going to grab this Google form and you are going to vote for what choice you would like to see. And again, we have 15 minutes, so we'll see how many choices we can get through. Sometimes we get through 2, sometimes we get through 5, sometimes we get through 3. So go ahead and start voting. And while you're voting, I'm also going to plug the Google group. So through this Google group, we sometimes share resources just for the group, especially if we're collaborating. So I'm going to throw the link for how to join that Google group along with a video in case you need those instructions as well. But our Google group is a place that, again, you could receive material, you get email reminders about upcoming sessions. You also can email hello@goldedu.org, and that is our email group where you can share other resources. You could talk about design tips and tricks. And then there's also Q&A. So feel free, and again, join that Google group. It is a great resource for you. Okay, so looking at the responses from the Google form, let me go ahead and pull that up. It looks like we have number 7. All right, so number 7, Guardians of the Googleverse. Right here, let me see real quick if I can pull that up. Number 7. All right, so there we go. Okay, so number 7. And again, all these will be added to a Wakelet collection. So I found this on Twitter, and what it does, and you can see the creator over here, is it helps students learn those Google skills at the beginning of the school year. And so I was talking with Megan Fernie about this idea and having her use it with her students. And again, it's just going over those Google tips that you're going to use all year, but introducing those in a fun way for your students. So they're going to work in teams. You can have them pick, or you can decide their teams for them. And once they're in their teams, this is how they keep score. So all of these little guys over here are a different task. So you can see right here, the different tasks, there's 4 of them. And then over here is the teams. So again, you could take away a color if you don't have that many, or whatever you need to do. But again, these are the teams. So again, you could do a check mark, you could add like a gold star, whatever you want to do for them to show that they've completed it. And then what the students will do is they're going to go to these different tasks. And so this one right here, it says that this is a Google Doc, and then students are going to go to this Google Doc and they are going to practice using this template. Okay, so once they have this Google Doc, it has directions for them. It's going to say your name, your class period. They're going to have to define this word. They're going to have to hyperlink. So again, they are going over skills that you're teaching them throughout their year. So what are those key skills that your students are going to need? And then again, customize it. So if you don't ever do pictures, take that out and add something else. Or maybe you need more. So for example, like change the font of this quote right here. And I love this setup because I think some teachers in my district are starting to use like question here, answer here. So that way also students are getting used to this setup as well. So again, they're working on hyperlinking, they're working on pictures, they're working on sharing this document with their teammates. And then once they're all finished, they're going to check with you, and then you're going to decide, yes, they completed that, or no, they did not. And again, you're able to give them feedback like, oh, that's not how you change that paper size, or that's not how you insert a 2x4 table. Let's walk through how to do that. So again, you can kind of do that as well. And then right here, they're working on like highlighting and that kind of stuff. So you can teach them whatever they're going to need to know for Google Docs for that whole school year. You can teach them right in this game that will be at the beginning of the school year. Okay, the next task on here then, the students do a Google slide. So again, they're going to open up this Google slide. They're going to make a copy of it. They're going to share it. So again, file, make a copy. They're going to share that with their team. And then when everyone's done, again, they're getting that teacher check-in. So right here, it's kind of like a vision board. So we were thinking like a vision for the classroom. And so you could kind of brainstorm, and then you could create that vision board for their group or the classroom. I have a teacher that gamifies. Maybe they start to build that team as they're part of their gamification. What is our vision? What is our goals as a team? So then they kind of work on that as well. And then the next task is right here. And this is using, I believe it's Google Draw. Yeah. And this one is a infographic. So all of these icons are from flat icons, and the students are doing a summer by the numbers. So they're explaining their summer, and they're using these different icons. They're using different numbers, and they're explaining what happened. Again, file, make a copy. There's an example right here so the students can see what the end result could look like. And then again, they're working together to create their infographic as a group. And then you could have them present to the class. And again, they're getting points. So you're going to check in, and then you get points. And you could go over some of their facts. And this one, everyone's doing this individually. So every single student is creating this. And then they're going to turn it into Google Classroom. So then you're knowing, can they add things from their Google Drive to Classroom? So you're working on a couple skills here, which can be really nice if you're just trying to get some resources. And then right here, if they need help with Google Docs or Google Draw, there's a resource from Amanda Sandoval, and the kids can click and they can learn more about that. So right, built in a tutorial for those students that might need it. And then task 4 is they're going to play a quizzes game. So every single student, they would do a quizzes, and this quiz could be over maybe your class syllabus. It could be over your SOPs, your standard operating procedures. It could be over whatever you wanted to do, and you're able to kind of test them. So again, maybe over here you could do shortcuts if you want to do something fun or teach them and keep going with those Google skills, but it doesn't have to be all Google. You could do some other things, but again, it could be fun to do, those shortcuts that you really want kids to learn, so it's a lot quicker in your classroom. So again, that's the Googleverse. Students complete as teams, and then they work on these different tasks. And I think too, you could add task or take task away, depending on your grade level and your students. And then you can have that fun activity for the beginning of the school year. All right, let's go back to our choice board in our Google form. And let's see what one we have next. All right, the next one that we want to talk about today is trainer. So let's go ahead and look at trainer. So on the Global GEG YouTube channel, Leslie Altman has been doing a lot of Google trainings for trainers. So let's go ahead and let's see if we can find that playlist, because it looks like it might have accidentally got deleted. And with this, it's the ET Open Chat. So right here, you can see after this commercial, but you're able to see like all of these sessions. And again, I'll link this whole playlist into that Wakelet. But you can see right here, if you're interested in becoming a Google trainer, you totally should. And you can see all these different resources for becoming a Google trainer. There's one on the case study, the video. If you're a new trainer, there's a resource for you, events, closing. And again, it repeats because it happened multiple times and there's multiple cohorts. So if you are interested in that, there's a whole video playlist. Again, it's really helpful if you are interested in becoming a Google trainer. And that resource can be really helpful as well because there's a lot of perks in being a Google trainer. So make sure you check out Leslie Altman in that training series. All right, let's look at what's next on that Google form. And it looks like this will probably be our last one, maybe, but virtual math. So right here, I found this again on Twitter, because if you're not on Twitter, you should definitely join Twitter. But this is a virtual math space for students. And so if they need fraction strips, if they need area and perimeter stuff, this whole resource has all of the things that your students could need. And I think too, what you could do is you could copy this, take away what they don't need for the day, or leave it up there and have them kind of problem solve and use some of that critical thinking of what tool do I need to use for class today? Right here, you can see problem of the day. Choose one of the math tools from the menu to model the problem. So students could also model the problem for that problem of the day. And then here's an example, which is greater, 1/6 or 1/4? How do you know? So students are taking those tools and they're showing it by images. And again, if the kids click here, it will take them to Toy Theater. And then they're able to take these fraction strips and really begin to show. So right there is 1/6 and it was 1/4. So then the kids can show which one is greater. If I had candy bar, which one would be a greater piece? And they can explain it by using this. I also like it because right here is a pen tool. And the students can kind of show like how much is missing. They can like draw an arrow, they could circle, they can do whatever they want. And then they can also erase and that kind of stuff. But this is a great one. So there's the fraction strips. And then here's like one with area and perimeter. And again, the kids have to decide like what tool would I need to show that fraction? Do I need dice? Do I need a graph? Like which one of these would I need? So there they are kind of using their different thinking. And then again, they can show using their perimeter and area. And if you click right here, you can see 1 square unit, perimeter is 4 units. Hide totals, you can show the totals and that kind of stuff. So you can hide it, show it. And again, the students are able to use that problem of the day to kind of show their thinking out loud. There's a clock. So again, if the students want to show their knowledge using a clock, they could do that. And so on. And again, all of these are using Toy Theater. And then there's like a place value chart, play money, all of that kind of stuff your students can use. And they can show like using a place value chart. They can use all of these fun tools to help them with their different math. And you can change the dice if you wanted to. So you also have a virtual dice if you need one, okay? And again, so many fun resources for your students that could be really fun for them to kind of prove how they know stuff by showing it with these different tools. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to throw the feedback link in the chat if you need a certificate of attendance. Just a reminder that that is auto-generated, so make sure you spell everything correctly, and it will auto send you a certificate to your email. And again, I'm going to throw all of those resources into a Wakelet, and I'm going to share that Wakelet link in the chat so that way you have it, and then you can explore all of those resources. Give me about 15 minutes after the session, and then they will all be there. All right, thanks, guys.